Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to share a little traveler's kind of notebook style journal that I got done making. And this one is something that you can take the inserts out of, which is super cool. I don't know if I've actually made one like this where you can take the inserts in and out. But on the front cover, I decided to decorate with this very, very adorable die cut. And I added some slow stitching and I used some vintage trims and some cheesecloth and some other things just to layer up, some sari silk, just to make it a little more interesting. So that is the front cover. And then what I ended up doing was I made the front cover out of some chipboard, and then I covered it with this fabric. Now I think the fabric might be vintage, but I don't want to say that for sure. But I believe where I got it from, and I think on the salvage, it was an older print. But again, I could be wrong. So here is where I added the 4 signatures in. I added some of these eyelets here. Hopefully that's in focus. And I did the elastic. So this is like just an elastic band. And it's got, like I said, the 4 signatures. And the back is just that simple fabric. And what I want to do today is show you the inside of it. So really like how the little girl in the front turned out. So this is very springy, gardeny looking journal. And like I said, I covered it with that fabric. And then I added this kind of panel of fabric on the inside. It's kind of like, almost like a sandy kind of texture looking. I thought it kind of reminded me of like gardeny, not necessarily dirt per se, but I just thought it was kind of cool with the texture and the garden kind of theme. And this fabric here on the inside is not vintage. So this is a newer piece of fabric. So all along the edges, you can see I added a lot of this lace trim detail. So you'll see it kind of throughout this entire book. It's a very dainty trim. Again, it may be vintage. I don't quite remember. I get a lot of things from estate sales and antique malls and Goodwill, and sometimes it's not always easy to tell if it is vintage or not. If I know it's vintage, I will let you guys know, but if I'm not sure, I'll definitely make sure I mention that. So this was made out of printables and then some hand-dyed paper, ledger paper. So you'll see that throughout. The ledger paper is vintage. The hand-dyed paper is something I dyed with either coffee or tea. And on this particular paper, I did add some sprays. So you can kind of see it, but it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. And then here I did a collage with some paper and one of the printable sheets. And just did some inking around the edges. This is kind of like, almost like an onion skin paper. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but it's kind of crinkly, so it's fun. And then here's just a little die cut with some lace embellishment. Here's that trim that went around the edges, and this is some more coffee dyed paper. And there's lots of journaling space in here. There is quite a bit of embellishment too, but I did leave a lot of room for journaling. I don't remember exactly how many pages this is. I will leave that in the description on my Etsy shop, as well as the size. Now this should be a pretty typical traveler's notebook insert size, but I will tell you what the measurements are of the book itself. So just have some, this vintage, actually this is vintage trim, this pink trim, and then another die cut. This one I think I glued down completely to the page. We have some more paper, just adding a little bit of embellishment, some coffee dyed or tea dye paper that has kind of this honeycomb look to it. This is an out-of-town telephone number, vintage piece of paper here. It's plain on the other side and just tucks in here. And this is the center signature. So you can see here, you can actually untie these and tie them tighter, or you can change them out. So all this comes out of the book like this. So you're able to kind of add any other inserts that you'd like. And I did not sew any of these. I thought it'd be kind of nice to keep them unfastened from each other, if that makes sense, because then that way, if you wanted to mix and match the pages, you want to take a page out, add a page in, you're not as restricted. So I decided not to sew each of the signatures, but you definitely could sew it either with a sewing machine down the center or like with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So here is just a tuck spot with a printable, oh, it's upside down. It's just back with some coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper. This is a little belly band and an envelope. So it's not been glued, so you can either add journaling to it or glue it down for whatever you're going to use it for. It's got some cute little Easter eggs or robin's eggs kind of looking things there. Some more just clusters, embellishments, green paper in the background. Here's some more of this like kind of oniony paper. You can actually see a watermark on it. You won't be able to see that on camera, but it's kind of got like almost a shimmer. I don't know if that's easy to pick up either on camera, but it's pretty fun. I got a lot of tuck spots in this journal. Here's just a little printable bingo card with some vintage trim. And then I added this little printable here that is a bookmark. I turned it into a bookmark, and it's covered on the back with just some brown recycled paper. I don't know why my camera doesn't like to focus in and out when I move it, but hopefully the manual focus is working okay. So here's some more of that vintage ledger, some more of the lace trim, printables. So this is the end of the first signature, and then we're moving into the second signature. Here's just another cute bird that's been fussy cut. Here I added just some of this vintage graph paper that I think is pretty fun. I like the color of this, and I like how it kind of goes with the colors in the journal. Just some other decorative, and put some kind of corners on here. More of that fun ledger paper. Just some little clustering on this page. Some more of that graph paper. This one really turned out nice. This honeycomb tea stain paper. I really like how that looked, and I thought that went well with this journal. Here's a piece of vintage encyclopedia paper. I don't remember what year this particular encyclopedia is from, but it is vintage. And then we just have a little tuck spot. Lots of more journaling spots. Some more of that pink lace. Oop, I got to add a little bit of glue there. And then this journaling card, that's just again back with some recycled brown paper. I'm going to do that real quick because I will definitely forget if I don't glue it down now. Maybe I'll glue it now. There we go. That way I do not forget to do that later, because I know me and I probably would forget. All right, I'll come back and check on it though. Make sure it's staying now. All right, just some more paper. Here are a little tuck spot and some more journaling spots here. This is on some, I always forget the name of this paper. If I think of it, I'll say it, but I can't remember quite what it is. And then just another little kind of bookmark. So I have lots of bookmark tags in here. You can definitely use them as a bookmark in the journal. You can use them in your books you're reading. Here's a little tuck spot with another kind of journaling card with a blank on the back. Some more of the trims just layered up. Here's another tuck spot with a journaling card. Just a little bit of a kind of stamp here. Most everything is inked around the edges, I believe. I don't know. There's probably a couple things that I may not have gotten inked, but essentially everything's inked up. Got some lace there. This is moving on to the third signature. This is some really cool eco-dyed paper that I got from a Etsy shop that's a printable. Another tuck spot, another one of the bookmarks, blank on the back. Here's another one of the envelopes that are opened up so that you can either glue it down and stick something in there, or you can keep it open to journal in. Here is another just embellishment, like a cluster with some trim. Journaling. Here's a cute little tuck spot with a big, huge tag. And the pretty pink, I think it's like a retro wallpaper printable that I think is pretty cool. More coffee dyed paper, some more places just to journal. Here's a little embellishment and journaling spot. Here's a tuck spot. You can add some journaling there. Here is another little tag made out of ledger paper. So this just flips down, and then there's some spots to write on. Here's some more of the spray. And a little tuck spot. And this is kind of funny. It had a hole here. Obviously it's not in the middle, but it's from the actual ledger paper. I thought I would just leave it like that. Normally I don't like my little tags to look naked. Like I'd like to have something in the top, but this one just didn't seem like it needed anything. More blank pages, more of that inko dyed printable, which is super pretty. And then this is the last signature. So again, another one of those big, huge tags with some retro printable wallpaper on the back. Another little tuck with a journaling spot. Another little collage, Add some journaling, more trim, more of the ledger, just a little embellishment there. Here is another tag with an eyelet and then some really pretty paper on the back. It's another printable. Here's another spot. This is a little tuck spot. So it's glued all the way around this, so it just tucks in. Things can tuck in there. It kind of holds it a little better than having the sides open. So I did glue the sides on this one. Here are some more little journaling spots and another bookmark. Blank on the back for journaling. Some more of that vintage blue trim that's really pretty. Here's just a collage. This is just some ledger paper that pulls out with some journaling spots. And then this is the last page with a little bird, another tuck spot, and this is the back, just like the front. So yeah, that is what this journal looks like. Like I said, it is a traveler's notebook size. Actually, I'll pull a ruler out and measure it since I'm sitting here and it's in hand. So it measures about almost 4 3/4, not quite, by almost 8 3/4. And the spine is about 2 1/4 wide with the 4 signatures. So that's what it looks like from the top. I know it's probably not focusing. The top isn't all that exciting anyway. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. Like I said, this is one of the first ones I've done where you have the removable signatures, and I did not sew the signatures together. So you have the ability to kind of mix and match and move things around and add your own papers in, which I thought was really fun. And yeah, I really think this turned out cute. I really love this little girl on the front. I'm not sure if it focused earlier, so let me do it again. So I think she turned out super cute. Well, if you are interested in this journal, I will have it on my Etsy shop. I should have it up when you see this video. It should be up there on my Etsy shop. So if you're interested in purchasing it, the link will be below, or you can go to TheMotleyFrog on Etsy and you can look at my other stuff. I have journals, I have ephemera, vintage ephemera, I have some quilting things. I have all kinds of stuff on my Etsy shop. So if you have any questions and you go over there, let me know. Otherwise, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, leave the comments below. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.